Like I said, we've been taking everything one step at a time. Now we're going to put a bunch of steps together. So when we're combining transformations, we want to make sure that our image points are written in prime notation. Go ahead and highlight prime notation for me real quick. Each transformation you perform adds another apostrophe to your point. We talked about this when we first introduced prime notation. A little prime on top of my letter is like the rings of a tree. The more years the tree has been alive, the more rings it has on the inside when you cut it down. So the more little apostrophes we have up on our point, the more transformations that we've done. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to perform the following transformations one by one and in order. Don't do the last one, then the first one, then the middle one. You always want to go in order. We also have to make sure we're labeling all the image points on the graph. Okay, so here's triangle ABC. This is my pre-image. I'm going to write a P on the inside like that. Everybody do that. Write a P on the inside of my pre-image. Now, how can we tell just by looking at it that this is my pre-image? Anybody see anything that tells us, Jawad? There's no primes. It's just a naked A, a naked B, and a naked C. There's nothing on the top, right? So we know that's our pre-image. What are my coordinates for point A in my pre-image here? Anyone? 7. 7 what?
9.
7, 9. What about point B?
5, 2.
5, 2. And point C?
10, 5.
Perfect. Thank you. 10, 5. Okay. Pre-image, our starting point. Now we're going to take this pre-image, we're going to turn it, we're going to flip it, and then we're going to slide it. Okay, you guys ever used a bop it before?
Yeah.
You guys know what that is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'll put you on there. So we're going to do a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation. That's a turn. We're going to turn it. We're going to reflect it across the x-axis. We're going to flip it. And then we're going to translate it using the rule x plus 10, comma, y plus 2, which means we got to slide it. Right. Just go ahead and glue in the notes. All right, we're going to turn it, we're going to flip it, we're going to slide it in that order. So the first thing is a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation. What can we use in order to complete a rotation like this? Is there something that we have that we can use? The transparent slide. So everybody make sure you still have yours out with your expo marker. Now look, this slide is not big enough for this whole graph. All we need to include is the origin and my pre-image. So I'm going to set it up like that. Go ahead and set yours up just like mine. Okay, then just follow along. Okay, like I said, you only get one, unfortunately. So now that my transparent slide's up in the top corner, I'm going to make a plus at my origin. I'm going to make a dot at point B, a dot at point C, and a dot at point A. Now we have to be really, really precise with our dots. That's why we have the fine-tipped expo markers, not the thick ones, because we want to make sure our points end up in the exact spot they're supposed to. Okay, everybody got that traced out, A, B, C? What direction are we going to turn our slide? To the left or to the right? To the left. How many times to the left? Once, because how many degrees is this rotation? 90. So here I am going to the left, to the left, to the left. We see my triangle moving over to the left. Boom. I'm going to line my plus back up. Okay. And we could do the way that we learned yesterday, but here's what I'm going to do. I see that point B is at what coordinates? What are my coordinates for B now?
-2, 5.
-2, 5. So down here at B prime, I'm going to write -2, 5. Okay, where is A prime going to be at?
Negative 9, 7.
Negative 9, 7 for A prime. And where's C prime going to be?
Negative 5, 10.
Negative 5, 10. Okay, well now I can just plot those 3 points. Negative 9 up to 7 is A prime. Negative 2 up to 5 is B prime. And negative 5 up to 10 is C prime. Everybody's got a tiny ruler in their supply box. Please make sure you're using your ruler here. So get those passed out if you don't already have one. We want to make a nice straight triangle. And inside our triangle, we're going to write the number 1. What does that 1 represent, you think? Image number 1. Exactly. It's the first transformed shape that we've constructed. A prime, B prime, C prime in purple. All right? Give me a thumbs up if you're comfortable with that. That's what we talked about yesterday and Friday. Yeah, Araya and Angelina are, Sophie is, Emerson is, Jasmine is. Okay. Now, think about like the analogy we talked about before. I have my bed in my old house. I break it down. I move it to my new house. Is my bed still in the old house?
No.
If I moved it to my new house, is it still in the old house? No. So my pre-image triangle now no longer exists. Okay, even though we can see it and it's there, in our heads, we have to put it out of our minds. We have to say this triangle doesn't exist. We turned it, and now it's this purple triangle. Okay? Step 2 says we're now going to reflect across the x-axis. So which triangle do you think we're going to reflect? This purple one or this red one?
Purple.
The purple one, because the red one does not exist. Okay? I'm going to make it red just so it makes more sense. We turned it. My pre-image is now gone, even though we see it. We can't do anything with it. So I'm going to take triangle A prime, B prime, C prime, and I'm going to reflect it over the x-axis. Okay, here's my x-axis.
Is it gonna be like double prime?
Exactly. You got it. Now with reflections, now that we have our transparent slides, here's something we can do with reflections. If you guys like using the slides and you're comfortable using them, let me show you a little trick for reflections, okay? We're going to put our slide over our triangle, the purple one, okay? I'm going to make a line where the x-axis is like that, my mirror line. And I'm going to dot my A, my B, and my C. Okay, again, this is if you like using the slide, it helps you visualize it, and you don't like counting. Here's what we can do. We're going to take our slide. Everybody got that lined up? Yeah? We're going to take it, and we're just going to flip it down and line that x-axis right back up. I should probably make sure that the y-axis is there too. That might help. Okay, so make sure you got a little bit of the y-axis just so you have your origin in place. And then we flip it down, line that origin back up, and boom, I see where my new A, B, and C are going to land. So my B is going to be right there. My C is going to be right there. And my A is going to be right there. Now, just like Eli said, A prime gets transformed again. What do we call it now? What did you say, Eli?
Double prime notation.
Double prime. A double prime. I'm going to zoom in. What is this point B going to be called now?
B double
B
prime.
prime.
B double prime. C double prime. Okay, it's another transformation. We're adding another ring to our tree. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. We line it up nice and neat. And what number are we going to write in this triangle? 2, because this is my second image. Start with the P. I do 1 transformation. I do 2 transformations. And those match up with step 1 and step 2. Do 1 and 2 look like mirror images of each other? Hold on, let it go away. Do 1 and 2 look like mirrored images? Yeah, it looks like we flipped it down. And again, the way that we could have done this without the slide, right, is if I take A prime and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces more. Right? For B, we went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. Same thing with C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is why the counting might not be the best way to do it. With a big graph like this, it gets really tricky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spaces further. So we could have got the same green triangle just by counting how we learned it in the notes. Yeah.
On the C's y-axis is 10, and the simple ways to it is to just say negative 10.
Exactly. That's a great way to think of it too. If you see C prime lines up at 10, just go down to negative 10 on that same vertical line. That's a great point. Absolutely. I'm glad you recognize that. That's awesome. Now, triangle 2, what are A double prime's coordinates?
-9, -7.
-9, -7. Yep, sorry. What are B double prime's coordinates?
-2, -5.
-2, -5. And C double prime?
-5, -10.
That's right. What axis did we reflect over?
The y-axis.
What axis did we reflect over? The x-axis. And which coordinate did we change? The x or the y?
The y.
The y. Just like we said, with reflections, we got to think inverse. If I reflect over the x, I'm flipping the sign of my y. Okay, so the rule for that would be x negative y. Go ahead and add that rule in. Again, on the test, that rule is something that we're going to need to identify. Give me a thumbs up if you're good so far. It's the first time we've connected 2 transformations. So is it making sense? You say you're already done? Look at that. It's not too bad, right? The last one, step 3, says we're going to do what?
Slide.
We're going to slide it. We're going to do a translation. We're just moving it. We're not flipping it. We're not turning it. We're just sliding it, okay? X plus 10. What direction does that tell me I'm going to go? X plus 10.
Right.
To the right. Right. 10. And then Y plus 2. What direction am I going there? I'm going up. Up. 2. Right? Plus is a positive. Let's take a look back. With translations, if my X is positive, I'm going to the right. If my Y is positive, I'm going up. So that tells me my directions right there. I'm going right 10 units, up 2 units. Right 10 units, up 2 units. Am I using triangle 1 or triangle 2? Triangle 2. Does triangle 1 exist now? No, neither of these exist. Triangle 2 is our last stop. Right? So now we're going to take triangle 2. We're going to bring it 10 spaces to the right and 2 spaces up. Here's another trick. Now that we have our slides, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to plus our origin. Actually, we don't even really need to do it here, but we'll do it anyway. There's B. There's C. There's A. And since we're sliding here, we're just going to take our slide and slide it. Okay, we're going to slide it 10 spaces to the right and 2 spaces up. So I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm using the origin to count. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then up 1, 2. Okay. A is now at, what are my coordinates for my new A point?
1, -5.
1, -5. Good. What about B?
8, -3.
8, -3. And C?
5, -8.
Good. 5, -8. Okay, go and use your ruler, connect all those up. All right, now I've got, it's not C double prime anymore. What do we call point C now?
Triple.
Triple prime. C triple prime. A triple prime. B triple prime. And what number triangle is this?
3.
3. It's my third image triangle. So we can follow the progression of this transformation sequence. We started at the P for pre-image. We rotated it to get triangle 1 with a single prime. We reflected it to get triangle 2 with a double prime. And then we translated it to triangle 3 with a triple prime. Right? The number of primes on your points should match the number that your triangle is. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to make it as easy to understand as possible. And then my rule here for this last one, just like it says, was x plus 10, y plus 2. So there's a bunch of different ways you can get through this. You could just use the rule to figure out all the points. Right, if you look here, -9 plus 10 is 1. -7 plus 2 is -5. So my points follow the rule. If you're a more visual learner like me, just count over on the graph. You don't need to use the slide for reflections and translations, but if it helps you, that's great. Quick show of thumbs, how we feeling about this? Thumbs up, we're feeling good. Thumbs sideways, we're feeling okay, a little confused. Thumbs down, we're not feeling too great, which is fine too. Okay. I think with some good practice, it'll all kind of click.